in the night, your heart fills with dread. Probably a murderer who wants you dead. It could be a ghost, a demon, or worse. Perhaps you're the victim of a witch's curse. It's hopeless, you're doomed. You'd call a priest if you could. You'd rather just listen to who? Sinisterhood.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Freaky Friday, where we tell your odd but true stories. It's Friday, July 11th, which means, at least stateside, it's 7-Eleven. So I think there's some sort of 7-Eleven, the convenience store. I think you get something free. I don't remember
they
what
always
it is.
do something, because
Like
I have
free
a friend that
Slurpees.
works in corporate there, and I always get a message. They usually give away like a tiny little slushie.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One year they did bring anything and fill it up. And I don't know if they still do that, but it was crazy. People were bringing like a pot. Like people would bring like a shrimp pot or something.
That's
You'd
disgusting. How are you going to get that home? And then how are you going to keep that? Like, it's
like Kevin on The
I
Office.
was just thinking that.
You like spill it.
Or Newman with the soup pot.
Yeah.
Jambalaya.
Yeah, not a good idea to just fill anything. It's like, this is my gas tank. They're like,
Yeah.
ma'am, we can't let
What
you do
about
that.
just straight in the mouth?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I think so, if you try hard enough.
Okay.
7-Eleven is also my oldest niece, Madison's birthday. So happy birthday, Madison. What
Happy
a good,
birthday.
easy to remember birthday.
Right? Unlike my sons who, if you ask them, I don't know. I know it's one of 2 days,
The problem is your
but
kids'
I
birthdays
constantly flip them.
your kids' birthday numbers are all ones and twos in
Yeah.
various orders. And I'm like, and then my niece's is too, and also yours and my sister's. I'm like, how am I to remember all of these things?
I had the wrong birthday for over a year at the pediatrician. And then Tommy was there and was like, no, that wasn't it. I was like,
Oops.
what are you talking about? He was born on January 10th. He was either born on the 10th or the 12th.
My memory is the 12th.
I don't remember which one it is. It's the 12th?
I think I plugged the 12th in my head.
Because Ella's 12/11.
And his is 112. And I was like, why
I don't think it is, though. I think it's 110, and that's why I get
then
confused.
Then I've remembered wrong.
Well,
So
who knows? I don't know. Tommy, tell me when Simon's birthday is before it comes around.
yeah, you got time. He's young enough. You can't remember, really.
No,
man.
I
Well,
just meant until this January comes around.
Yeah, you've got months. You got a couple months. But you told me specifically not to read your stories that you're going to read. So I'm live reacting as y'all listen. Normally I'll just read the whole thing and kind of like, we get pacing, kind of get an idea, but I've been told to be surprised today.
These are some of the wilder stories we've had before.
Yes.
So, and yours too, but
Mine too. I was gonna say,
especially
even
the top three.
reading mine, I was like, what? On all three of them, especially the last one when I was having to dab my eyes due to crying. of laughing.
We'll get to that one because I know exactly the sink that she's talking about.
Because that's true. You're familiar
I
with
had
the
one
location.
too. Mm-hmm,
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, everybody, thank you for sending these in. Like we said, everything happens all the time, all at once. So at least we can gather in these ways and chat and tell your stories, your very odd but true stories.
And terrifying.
Terrifying, apparently. I'm excited.
Well, I'm Christy.
I'm
Don't
Heather.
say you're excited. I mean, you can be excited. I mean, it ended fine.
Yeah. Well, it's good because then at the end of the story, people will go, oh, Heather, you shouldn't have been. That was the wrong feeling. So we can all go on this journey together.
It is okay. Well, we all know what you mean. So
Exactly. A journey. It's a journey together.
it's a journey. Well, I'm Christy.
I'm Heather.
And let's get freaky. Well, this first one's from Jess, and it's called The Man in My Window. Hey guys, I just found your podcast a few months ago, but you've quickly become my favorite to listen to throughout my day. I listened to Freaky Friday episode 86, and one of the stories brought up a past trauma that I finally decided to write about. In 1998, my family lived in a small town in Kansas. It wasn't a big house, but it had a big backyard with a chain link fence that my brothers and I often found ourselves playing in. It's where I learned to ride my bike, caught fireflies, made mud pies, and conquered whatever other adventures we decided to face. Behind our backyard was an alleyway with a footpath for city workers to use to access meters or light poles, or for neighbors to use as needed. It's also how he would come and go to my window at night. When the weather was nice, my mom would leave my window cracked at night. I enjoyed falling asleep to the sounds of the frogs and the leaves rustling in the breeze. That is, until he discovered he had access to not only the backyard, but my open bedroom window as well. The earliest memory I have of him was when I was 3 years old. He waited until it was dark outside and would approach my window dressed in a dark hood with a porcelain doll-type mask. He carried a lantern of some sort, like one you would take camping, and could turn off or dim as needed. I remember being scared, as anyone would be, to see a stranger in my window at night. But I also remember him being friendly, at first. I know he came around often enough that my dog Sammy eventually stopped barking and growling when he came by. For months, he would ask me questions about my brothers, ask what my mom was doing, ask where my dad was. He asked about things I was interested in. And then things took a turn. I remember him saying awful things. He told me that no one cared about me, that I wasn't important, that my parents didn't love me because if they did, they would have believed me when I told them about him. Whenever I would get up to tell them he was back, they chalked it up to a girl who didn't want to sleep, shadows playing tricks on me, or an over-hyper imagination. Maybe part of them did believe me and just didn't show it as to not scare me more. Fast forward to 2001. I was 6. My dad worked all day and overnight 3 or 4 nights a week, and this was normally when he happened to show up. While my dad was away for work, the doorbell rang. My mom answered. It was a city compliance officer giving us a warning for something breaking city ordinances in the front yard. A few weeks later, the doorbell rang again, and the same city compliance officer was there to issue a ticket. This time for something in the alley behind our house that was technically our responsibility to take care of. He asked if he could come in to discuss how to go about taking care of the ticket, and for a glass of water. My mom agreed, and while she went to get him a glass of water, he said hi to my brothers and I and offered us suckers. My brothers happily accepted and ran off to continue playing, but I was frozen in place. That voice, that disgusting, musky smell, the piercing eyes. I knew him. He was my nighttime visitor. He was my nightmare. He was standing in the living room alone with me. My mom returned with a glass of water. He thanked her and went his way. He had been coming to my window for 3 years by this point. I believed him when he told me my parents didn't care if he was at my window, that it was okay that he was there. So I never told my mom that man who gave her a ticket was the same man that I had been telling them about for years. Why bother? Another year went by, and my mom was standing at the kitchen sink doing dishes at the end of the night. The window above the sink overlooked the backyard. And finally, it happened. She saw him as he was arriving. I remember the police being called and me being brought out of bed to talk and answer questions. He wasn't caught. We were told to call again if we saw him or anything like that again. We moved to another city 20 minutes away a few months later. He still came to me in my dreams, though. The next time I saw him was in 2005. His mugshot was on the news everywhere, with headlines that read something like, BTK, caught. My mom told my grandma she had let him in the house for some water one time and how she can't believe we were all right. This time, I told my mom that this was the man outside my window all those years. She didn't argue. She didn't tell me it was a bad dream. She just cried. I'm not so sure on this part of the timeline, but after Rader was arrested, my mom received a phone call or a letter. My mom's name was on his kill list, and so was mine. It was nice that there was proof that all those years of visitations were real. I'm glad he was finally caught. It would take years and years of therapy to undo the trauma he inflicted on me. But in the end, I won. I was finally believed. I was safe and loved, and I survived BTK. Jess.
Jess. Oh my God. Not only the ticket situation, which is bad enough. And we knew he was doing it. And like, that's kind of how he would like, kind of get his foot in the door, quite literally. But the fact that there's like literally a boogeyman. And you're just like, I'm texting as fuck because when you're like, I was a child and there was something outside my window, my brain, without me consciously, was like, shoot it. Because that's just, I'm from Texas and I shouldn't. And it's hard to like.
Don't shoot everything outside your window.
My therapist said we're not responsible for our first thoughts, but we're responsible for what comes after those. So my first thought's just like, kill it with fire. But like in this case, but like seriously, this is such an outlandish thing for your kid to tell you. Like,
but I would like to give a PSA to believe your kids.
100%. Go
always.
Just walk the house. The problem is I was like, 98, 2000, 2001. It would not be as easy as it would be today to go like, I'm going to just get like a little ring and stick it up back there or a trail cam and like hide it just to see, she may be right. She may be wrong. Like it was like everything was manual back then. You were going to have to patrol your own house or like wait in your daughter's room. But
stay in there. If he's coming every night, stay in the closet. Wait for him to arrive.
Just sleep right underneath the window. And then the second he comes over, I gotcha, bitch.
Dude,
that's horrible.
The porcelain doll mask makes me want to throw up 1,000 times.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Anything that's like
so scary.
Human, but not quite human. And like
doll masks don't belong on humans. They barely belong on dolls, but they certainly don't belong on human faces.
Why are we making them human head size is the question. Who's manufacturing these doll masks?
Dude.
Because they're being used for nefarious purposes. It sounds like, I don't know. Someone's like, I was just mowing my lawn and I didn't want the grass to get in. So I put this doll mask on. No, that's not what they're used for. I've only
seen them when they're being used to scare people.
Yes, whether for funsies or in this case, good God. And the fact that he was bold enough not only to stalk the house, but then to like knock, knock, knock and literally walk in.
I'm not most shocked, but I am shocked that he went on for so long just kind of toying with you and not, thank God, acting on anything. But that's a long time to kind of just stake somebody out.
I'm not entirely sure on the BTK timeline because I haven't really looked much into it since I saw that one documentary like 10 years ago and it scarred me. But I wonder if he was a little bit more dormant at this time because I know there was a while that like he had a final killing and then there was like by the time he was caught, he hadn't really done anything in a while, but he was sending letters. So it's like, I wonder if he was itching to do something, but didn't quite have the means, opportunity, whatever to do it in this case. And was like more so just like, getting the thrill by scouting out and stalking.
Well, I hate everything about it. And Jess, I'm so glad that you and your family are okay. I mean, of anyone that could be at my window, top 3 I don't want, he's in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those that really was like the boogeyman, truly. Like, insofar as the way that he went about things and everything. Well, you are a warrior and a survivor, Jess, and good for you for doing years of therapy and, really working at it and not going, well, it's just a thing that happened to me when I was a kid. No, your name was on the list of persons that not only the person who made the list would be willing to take action, but like has a proven track record of taking that exact action. It's not the same as being on, well, my coworker was kind of having a tough time and said he wanted to kill me versus a literal serial killer had your name on it. So, I mean, I think take that seriously for sure.
You were also abused for 3 years.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally. Yeah. That's serious. Terrifying. Yeah. That'll stick with me because well, I was like, oh my God, there's just some creepy man coming to her window. And then I was like, oh my God, it's Dennis Rader.
Yes, of all
Jesus
the fucking
Christ.
People. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like if you lived in Kansas City in this era, like between he was such a nuisance
as far as run into him. Yeah.
Right. Such a menace going around like giving tickets, but it's really, I'm like, that's probably just his secret way of like keeping eyes on people.
We had another listener that wrote in about how her dad bowed up to him when he came to get their dog, when he was doing dog catching stuff.
Yeah, like, well, maybe that's what is from episode 86 that Jess previously heard. But it's if anybody lived in Kansas City at the time and also had interactions, I'm fascinated by that. Just anytime it's the serial killer and they're kind of, I won't say that the stalking at night was day to day, but coming to the house, giving the ticket and being like, do you want some suckers? Can I have a glass of water? And it's like, are you just putting on what you think humans act like because you don't actually know how to act? I don't know.
Yeah, because he has to wear a doll mask to act the way he wants to act.
Ugh. Yeah. So eerie.
Nauseous. Well, Jess, so glad that all of you are okay. That is, that's a good submission. That's a good submission.
This is odd but true. And when I said I was excited, I mean, I was interested deeply in your lived experience, and this is not an exciting, good God. Woof, Jess, bless you. But thank you for feeling willing enough to share it.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Sinisterhood will be right back.
Summer is full of big moments, weddings, vacations, and endless photos. But if you're dealing with hair thinning or shedding, showing up and being present in those moments might feel tough. Nutrafol takes a whole body approach to hair growth, working from the inside out. So the sooner you start, the sooner you'll be feeling confident and focusing on what matters most to you.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. Anything truly worthwhile takes time and effort. And with Nutrafol, see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair and less shedding in just 3 to 6 months.
Thicker, stronger, faster. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests its final formulations using advanced hair measurement tools like hair counts and pull tests to track real improvements in growth, quality, shedding, and texture. And it's not just backed by studies. Their research is published in peer-reviewed journals and vetted by doctors, ensuring scientific rigor and reliable results.
Adding Nutrafol to your routine is easy and no prescription is needed. Order online with free shipping and automated deliveries, subscribe to save up to 20%, and enjoy perks like one-on-one naturopathic consults and a free Headspace membership to support your hair growth journey.
Y'all always ask me on live streams, your hair looks so pretty. What do you do? Get you some Nutrafol. It makes it shiny. It makes it thicker. It is like softer. The texture's better. It grows faster. It helps you in all the ways, because there's all sorts of reasons your hair might be thinning or shedding. Stress, nutrition, lifestyle, age, hormones. Hello, hormones.
Right. It's a game changer. And it's easy to take. I just take it with my regular vitamins, like boop, pop them in. And if it gets delivered, I don't forget to go and buy it, which is very helpful.
Very helpful.
This summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code CREEPY.
Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code CREEPY. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code CREEPY. Well, this next one is from your daughter, so you may have heard this one before.
Around the dinner table.
And it's called, I'm Friends with a Murderer on Social Media. Hi, Mama Heather and Aunt Christy. I've written in before, but to cover my own ass and for privacy reasons that will become evident, I'm clinging to my anonymity today. This submission is kind of a Sinisterhood / true crime campfire crossover because y'all are my favorite and Katie and Whitney have covered this case in an episode previously. When I heard that y'all are both going to be on the ship for Crime Wave at Sea, I remembered that I haven't sent in my closest relation to actual true crime. So in true Christy fashion, let's get into it. About 10 years ago, I was very religious and attended church meetings as often as I possibly could. This included Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays most weeks. I was in a leadership role in one particular program that met during the week, so I had to speak fairly regularly. This program required most of the leadership to speak, either teaching or giving a, quote, testimony, which is essentially just telling your life story in front of an audience and how God brought you through hard situations. Someone was slated to give their testimony twice a month, and the leadership took turns. One week, after having served for years at this point, I sat down and got ready to listen to the testimony for the evening. There was always some morbid fascination on my part when it came to hearing other people's stories. It's almost like seeing a car crash, but not being able to look away. Thankfully, the end of these stories had a happy conclusion, so there wasn't too much guilt involved. On this night in particular, I saw that one of my co-leaders, Chris, was set to tell his story. I knew I hadn't heard it yet, so I was excited that he was finally sharing it. Chris and I were close enough acquaintances that we were friends on Zuck's part of the internet, and he'd heard my story before, so it was almost like finally being even. I was not prepared, however, for what his story entailed. My acquaintance, or friend, is Christopher Wayne Pritchard, but I just know him as Chris. In July of 1988, Chris planned the murder of his mother and stepfather, Bonnie and Leith Von Stein, with two of his college friends. Chris supplied a map of the home and a key. The ultimate goal was to gain an inheritance upwards of $2 million, where he would then pay the other two men for completing the task. Chris was the, quote, brains, while his two friends were the brawn. Chris's stepfather, Leith Von Stein, was ultimately murdered in his home, and his mother, Bonnie, barely made it out with her life. Once the investigation concluded and sentences were handed down, Chris was sentenced to life in prison, while the friend who actually completed the murder was sentenced to death. The media devoured this devastating story because it was the late 80s and Chris and his friends were very into Dungeons and Dragons. It was satanic panic in its truest form. There are multiple books and even a Lifetime movie covering Leith Von Stein's murder. The part that is most fascinating to me on a human level is what happened afterward. Chris was paroled in 2007 after serving 17 years in prison. How did a convicted murderer with a life sentence earn parole? Apparently, Chris turned his life around in prison. According to him, the main reason was because of the love of his own mother, Bonnie. Bonnie Von Stein, after surviving an attempt on her life at the hands of her own son, and after watching her husband die for the same reason, forgave her son and spent the next 17 years showing him love, compassion, and forgiveness. Bonnie would visit Chris in prison. She would write him letters. She would let him know that the consequences of his actions were well-deserved, but that she still loved him because he was hers. She didn't excuse his behavior. She just extended grace. Bonnie Von Stein was faced with one of the most unimaginable things a mother could ever deal with, and yet she chose to love him through it. Unfortunately, Leith was not given the same opportunity. Ultimately, Chris seemed to be a well-adjusted, kind person. I knew the Chris after prison, the one who said he found God and actually seemed genuine about it. This case in particular makes me really consider the cliché saying that you never truly know what someone else is dealing with. It really makes me grapple with the darker parts of humanity, because while Chris is free, his friend is still sitting on death row in North Carolina. Bonnie is still dealing with the fact that her son had her husband killed for money, and she almost died the same way. True crime is such a difficult topic to cover because everyone involved is a person, a human being. Thank y'all for not taking that responsibility lightly. While I'm no longer a churchgoer or religious at all, I carry the story of Bonnie's forgiveness with me. I hope to be able to extend the kind of grace and compassion that's always needed while still holding firm boundaries and holding people accountable. I think we should all just remember my favorite motto: do no harm, take no shit. Peace out, friends. Anonymous. P.S. I'm attaching dog tags for your eyes only. She is my soul animal, and I will share her whenever and wherever I have the chance.
Well, your soul animal is perfect.
Look at this distinguished little lady.
I can't even with this, like, just
she looks so proper. Like hello, mommy.
You'd like a cup of tea, darling. She's welcoming you to her room. What a, that's a shocking testimony that you do not know what someone else has gone through.
Truly. And, you know, if you just know somebody's kind of first name and you don't Google, you know, I mean, who knows how many of us have just been acquaintances / friends with people that have, I wouldn't even call it a secret, but a story like this that they are holding on to.
No, truly. And kind of like what you do with that information when you find out about it. And like Anonymous said, you know, you know the person by their actions. And like, since they've been out of prison, they've been this, you know, contrite and thoughtful, you know, colleague at church helping to run this group and whatnot. So you don't want to like, it's kind of like the Menendez brothers. You don't want to like permanently continue to like punish them for years and years if they're showing some movement forward and wanting to be, in this case, it sounds like he's a perfectly ingratiated member of society.
Perhaps so. I mean, according to this, who knows? I mean,
yeah, we haven't seen
I
anything
feel like
else.
Menendez is different because there was abuse involved, and this was strictly financial. However, the most amazing part of the story is that his mother was able to forgive and really be the one that was able to help him through his darkest times to get him out of prison early.
Yeah, I mean, I like that she said the consequences of your actions are well deserved. Like, you do deserve to be here. You know, that would be one thing if it was my baby. He didn't mean it. Let him out. Let him out. But there is something to be said about going like, I forgive you, but also you need to learn something from this. Because
sounds like he learns a lot from his mother. And isn't that wonderful that he didn't end up taking her life so that he could learn that. And it's very sorry for her husband. I feel like I've heard about this case, just because it's kind of, I believe, like she said, there's a couple documentaries and a Lifetime movie, but I haven't delved into it. And man, a mother's love is something that even when your kid does something like try to literally kill you, you're able to like see past that and see the good in them still and be there for them.
They're still part of you. I mean, they literally came from you.
That's why it hurts so much that they tried to harm you.
No, exactly. No, I haven't. The only connection I vaguely recall is some mention of like Dungeons and Dragons and Satanic Panic, and it's sort of being like, it seems like it was kind of greed and financial motivation, and that was just like for sensationalism of the story. But wow, Anonymous, thank you so much for sharing that with us for sure. And like you said, even regardless of religious beliefs, just a lesson to be learned from Bonnie's reaction, whatever that lesson may be.
Also, I love do no harm, take no shit.
That's great.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
Fantastic motto. Thank you for sharing that. Sinisterhood will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQBAR is the better-for-you, plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash.
My favorite snack bar, IQBAR's plant-based protein bars, are made with high-quality ingredients to support both body and brain, and they're completely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners, making them a clean, natural snack you can feel good about anytime. There's 9 delicious flavors. We got chocolate sea salt, banana nut, toasted coconut chip, lemon blueberry, peanut butter chip. All of these are good. But the mint chocolate chip.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I can't eat 5 of these. You could eat 2. But
they're so good.
Cut yourself
They're
off.
so good. The kids love them. They're so easy to like throw in the bag if you're going to the pool or just in the car, because people be getting hungry in the car all the time.
I keep in my purse. Yeah.
Yeah. They're so filling, and the flavors, literally the best, like, protein bar I've ever had.
When you go to eat a protein bar, you're like, this is about to taste like a protein bar. When you go to eat an IQBAR, you're like, I get to eat a mint chocolate.
Yeah.
I think I
it's
gave
so
one to my
good.
niece. We took like a 12-mile bike ride and we needed snacks along the way, and I stuck an IQBAR in there because I was like, this is like a tasty thing that I know I'm not like feeding my niece junk.
With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQBAR's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees.
And right now, IQBAR is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQBAR products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, text CREEPY to 64,000. Text CREEPY to 64000.
That's creepy to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Well, this next one's from Melissa, and it's called My Unwanted, quote, Celebrity Lookalike. Hi, ladies. Sending love from Connecticut. I've been binging the whole podcast, and in the past 6 months, you've gotten me through my very horrible first-time full job and my absolutely wonderful second job, where I'm currently at. First, I want to say that I'm absolutely crushed that I can't go on Crime Wave at sea. I'm an avid cruiser, but I can't take a vacation time in November because it's the start of our busy season. I'll be there in spirit. I wanted to wait to submit a story until I caught up to present time, and I'm here now. I have to give credit to my best friend, also named Alyssa, for introducing me to this podcast and reminding me of this recently, because I don't think I would have ever remembered it only on my own. To preface, this definitely doesn't compare to some of the vulgar things people have said to retail workers in previous stories, but this was enough to make my 20-year-old self super uncomfortable. This takes place in 2021, and I was home from college, working my retail job at a sporting goods store in my local mall. I was working in the front of the store, greeting people coming in and being easily accessible for customers who had questions. The store I worked in was at one end of the mall, so we had an outside entrance, which many people came through and then walked through out our store to get to the rest of the mall. Typically, people would walk through and then end their shopping trip in our store, so I would recognize a lot of people from when they walked back into our store. I'm very fortunate that not many weird things happened here, which I think makes this time stand out so much. Besides a man carrying a live pigeon into our store and another man who would talk to our human-shaped punching bag for hours on end. There was a man who I recognized coming into the store from our outdoor entrance, just because he shopped there a lot. He bought tennis items that would get his racket restrung, so I would see him every so often, but not enough to ever talk to him in a friendly way or expect him to say anything but hello. He got to the bottom of the escalator, looked at me, I greeted him, and he walked out of the store into the mall, a typical interaction. It was when he came back into our store, before he left, that everything went wrong. He came back into the store and was kind of lingering around me, so I was expecting him to ask a question of some sorts if he couldn't figure it out himself. Instead, he came over to me and asked me if I wanted to know who my celebrity lookalike is. Now, I've gotten 3 celebrities in my life: Anna Kendrick, Anne Hathaway, and Jenna Ortega, but only when I wear sunglasses. So I said, sure, expecting one of those, or someone in that realm of celebrities. He goes, "You look exactly like Jodi Arias." At the time, I had no idea who that was, so I just said, "Oh?" He followed up and said, "Do you know what she did?" Me, trying to stay friendly and also thinking to myself, that's a weird way to ask me if I know her or if I know what she was in. But I responded, "No, what?" He then went into explicit detail about everything she did to her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. For those of you who don't know, Jodi Arias murdered her ex-boyfriend Travis in 2004. This man told me how many stab wounds, how many gunshot wounds, where she did it, and everything. I could have been a pro in the case after every detail this man gave me. I was speechless. I don't know if I was more scared that this man knew every single detail of this case, or how stunned he was and almost liked that I looked like her. I wish I could remember what I said, but it was probably something like, "Oh, okay." He eventually left the store. I don't know why, but I just felt so gross after that. I eventually told all my coworkers, and what made it worse is one of the older men that worked at my store thought it was funny and only called me Jodi from then on, which was about 3 more years during school breaks. I would just uncomfortably laugh and be like, "Yep, you're making sure I never forget." Again, this isn't as bad as many of the stories before these, and I am so sorry for anyone who has gone through something worse, but mine is just very weird, and I thought I would share it. Attached are some photos of me and Jodi. I don't see it personally, but I have already been told I look like her by the majority of my friends, so I won't be offended if you agree. Also, a picture of my work cat named Dorman. P.S. Since I just finished listening to every episode, you will be gaining a Patreon member as soon as my next paycheck comes in. Love, Alyssa. Well, Alyssa, thank you so much for sending this in, and I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but you definitely look like her.
Oh, no. I'm opening your pictures right now. I'm going to... Oh, Alyssa. Oh, well, honey, the problem is, first of all, you're beautiful. You did a really good job of matching expression. So, it's one thing if it's a smiling picture of you and a grimacing picture of her, you might go, I don't know. But it's sort of,
you've found pictures where you basically are both posing the same.
Yes.
And in my opinion, you look very much alike. Would I go up to a stranger at a sporting goods store and tell them this? Fuck no. I wouldn't tell anybody that they look like a murderer.
No, not at all. I think you're prettier than her. Know. And I think that there are some prettier. Similar features, but overall, it's the case of a person who has and by the person, I mean the guy coming up to you to say this, and your fucking coworker for 3 years. It's people that have no sense, no emotional intelligence, no raisin, as my mother would say. Like, you don't have that's not appropriate to run up to somebody and be
No.
like, do you want to hear the details of a murder? And it's like, did you want some tennis shoes? Or I'm just trying to work, man.
It's one thing if you're like checking him out and he looks up and he's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You just look like someone. And then it
Yes.
comes out. But to wait around for her to finish what she's doing, to tell her and then go into the details, it makes me feel like,
He liked it.
yeah, it was some kind of a kink because
Or excitement, especially if they know so much about the case.
normal people don't just go up to complete strangers and tell them, like, what if I walked up to someone at Dick's Sporting Goods? I was like, do you know who you look like? BTK.
Yeah.
Do you know what he did? And then and this person's like, I'm just trying to get a softball.
Yeah, like I'm the team's waiting for me. Can I go? Yeah, I would not grab
Wild.
someone and be like, you look like Brian Koberger. Do you want details? And they're like, what? No. Yeah, something like this, it's always helpful that I think a lot of adults have that training that they give like kindergartners where it's like, think, is this thoughtful, helpful, informative, necessary, kind, like, are not informative, not helpful. It's probably not thoughtful. It's true. Like, I guess the T is for true. It's true. Yeah.
It's informative if you want to learn about a terrible murder while you're on the clock, but I don't think most people do.
No, and something like that where the coworker does it over and over and it forces you into a position of fawning of like, oh, you know. Well, the alternative is to be like, you said I look like a killer? Call me it again.
Right?
Tell me what she did again. Cause I can't take it. I'm getting up to here, man.
No.
Yeah. Something like that.
Don't be doing shit like that. Hopefully things are a bit different now than it was in the early 2000s, but
Couple years
Oh
back.
wait, no, this was in 2021.
2021.
So never mind.
No, sorry. We had hope.
Old men, shut up. Just shut up, old men. Old men, I'm talking to you, specifically old white men.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, literally no one cares about what you have to say. Like, literally nobody.
I mean, we've all had it up to here. I'm always just like, every person I know, and I'm going to extrapolate that out to like, out there, we're all on just the last fucking straw. Every one of us is like having the last straw. This was 2021. Things were bad. But I think we've all been pushed now, and I'm on a brink where, again, it's like Heather, you shouldn't really go out for a walk when it's dark. I'm like, oh, I hope someone tries to attack me. Like, I'm like, I want to draw blood. So let's do this. Like, so the fact that this, at least it was 2021, I'm saying if this happens in 2025, we're fucking done. We're going feral, man. Feral anti-society. I'm going feral.
Feral to the man who said this to you.
Yes.
Like, are you kidding me?
You did
Why would you
nothing
come
wrong.
up to me right now and say, fuck, the customer's always right? Maybe he's right about the details of this case, but just as a human, he's very wrong. And then, fuck that guy that keeps calling you that. Not only is it, you've already shared it made you uncomfortable, so he's continuing to make you uncomfortable. It's also just in terrible taste. Even if you thought it was hilarious to keep, Travis Alexander's murder was a brutal.
Heinous. Another one where I watched
heinous.
a documentary and I'll like shut my eyes and think about it and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. It's fucking nuts. So to take that and make light of it in any way is very gross. So yeah, all that to say, what did we learn earlier? Do no harm, take no shit. That's what we're doing.
That's our new thing. I wonder too if in a situation like this, it would at all work to just go, what did you hope to gain by coming up and telling me this?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I just thought you'd want to know. I thought you looked just like her. Well, I don't.
No, I don't care. Are we finished with this interaction? I'm just going to become robotic. But it's like, it's happened that before of like in a professional setting, someone telling a racist joke and me just being like, why did you say that? Why'd you think it would be an okay thing to say to me? And then it really does become, well, it was, I just was thinking maybe, and I'm like, no, I'm just misunderstanding. Why did you think, is it because you were talking about stereotypes? Because I'm a comedian and it wasn't a good joke. So why else did you say it? So maybe I'm a cunt. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
No, I think,
I'm also 38 and you're in your 20s. So I
think
hear you.
Old white men, who I'm assuming this guy was white, but perhaps I'm wrong. I'm assuming both the men.
They always be.
They, if they tell off-color jokes like that, then they think that you're going to laugh because you're also white. And that's why you got to be like, no, shut the fuck up.
No,
everybody.
Just shut it.
I am hanging by, when I say a thread, it's like if you were to pull a thread apart and really dissect it into all the tinier threads, I'm one of the, I'm like a strand of hair at this point.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm walking on a strand of hair and at any second it's going to break.
Fucking try me.
So yeah, man. Oh man. I hope somebody fucking tries me.
Ugh, well, fuck, they shall fuck. If they fuck around, they shall find out. But Alyssa, thank you for sharing this with us. You are beautiful. I would not immediately think Jodi Arias because I'm not a fixated sicko like this guy was. Again, you've putting it in my head and side by side, I would agree. But yeah, it sounds like that was a him thing and not a you look like Jodi Arias thing.
If somebody mentioned her name, I don't even know that I could picture her face right away. And 20 or 15 years later than it happened, it's right there at the top of his noggin.
I'm like, what were you recently looking at that's who you thought when you saw me? But there is something in people, and I don't know what it is, but they feel like they have to tell you. Paris gets like run down at places. One time he was eating at a restaurant and someone had walked past and then came all the way back and was like, I just had to stop and say, you look identical to John Legend. And he's just like, okay, thanks.
Well, that's a little different than you look exactly like John
100%. And they didn't stop and say, and by the way, do you know what he did? But it's like, but they were just, it's like they're so excited to say it. And it's like, okay, thanks.
I think people want to think that they're telling you something that you haven't heard before so they can, because everybody likes to be the first person to like break news. Bad or good, you know? But
no, this guy's off. This guy's a weirdo. Well, thank you, Alyssa. Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this next one is from Heather. Not me, Heather, but I love another Heather in the world. What's up? Subject line is, I work on a haunted steamboat. Hey, ladies, you are some of my favorite people. My Friday ritual every morning is to drive to my early workout class, sip on some coffee, and listen to Freaky Friday. So I was so excited to have a story to share. Let me get started by saying I have the best job ever. I work on a haunted steamboat. It's called the Belle of Louisville, and it's located in Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby and all the bourbon. The Belle was actually built in 1914. It started out as the Idlewild. In the late 1940s, she had a captain named Ben Winters, who was known for having some slightly shady friends. These friends were doing a little bit of illegal gambling on the boat one night, which resulted in the police raiding them. The shock of this gave Ben Winters a heart attack, which he later died from, and it was his dying wish to name the boat the Avalon. It's considered bad luck by some to rename a boat, but considering we're the oldest steamboat of our kind in the world, things are going okay for us, knock on wood. Ben Winters is rumored to haunt the boat, but that's not even the story I ran here to tell you today. Anyway, our boat was the Avalon until 1962, and then the city of Louisville bought her and eventually restored her to her adorable turn-of-the-century greatness. This was when she got her third name changed to the Belle of Louisville. And you'll see her all over our city in murals, logos, and random memorabilia in antique shops. Every year, we have a big steamboat race that's part of the Kentucky Derby Festival. We're kind of TikTok and Instagram famous for an instrument we have on our boat, the steam calliope. It's a really loud organ-type instrument that steamboats would have back in the day in order to announce their presence before the internet. They'd start playing when they got close to a destination, and you can hear it for 10 miles or so. People in these river towns would flock to the shore to see the steamboat coming in when they heard the calliope from far away. Now we play music requests and some pop music on the calliope, and people love it. They also love our player, who is an actual angel named Martha. When the boat was leaving the dock today, I ran into one of our mates, and he asked me if Martha had told me what happened to her over the weekend. I had just spoken to Martha, but she hadn't mentioned it. However, we were texting back and forth to coordinate some new Calliope songs, and later that afternoon, she mentioned that someone told her she had to tell me her story. So, it was right before a cruise, and Martha was playing a selection of songs like she usually does. She'll come on board, play a few numbers, and then head home. She was on her way down the stairs to kick off a peaceful evening and cool off from being on the top deck of a steamboat in Kentucky humidity when she ran into one of our engineers. Our engineers are in charge of checking the steam pressure and running the engines during a cruise. as well as maintaining the engines, which date back to the 1890s, 20 years before the Belle was even built. When it's safe to come down and check things out, people are welcome to come down and explore and chit-chat with them. However, when we're taking off, turning, and docking, we use a yellow rope to signal to people that the engineers are busy, so people can't go down to the engine room just yet. This engineer asked Martha if she could pull the yellow rope on her way out, so she went over to the top of the staircase to the engine room to do so. At the top of the staircase is a closet, and as Martha came closer, she heard someone kicking and pounding on the door of the closet and screaming, help me out, I'm stuck!" Martha ran to go get one of our engineers to unlock the closet. They got out the key, opened the door, and found nothing. This is actually a linen closet full of shelves that a person can't even fit into. I've heard stories that our engine room is home to the one angry ghost on the Belle. This is the ghost of a deckhand who we call Floyd. According to legend, before a moonlight cruise many decades ago, Captain Winter sent Floyd down to the engine room. He was somewhere he wasn't supposed to be. So, when the boat was ordered to go full steam ahead, yes, that's where the saying comes from, Floyd was crushed in the paddle wheel, exactly one deck below the closet where Martha heard the trapped entity. I went on the boat right after getting Martha's text, and let me tell you, I got chills and goosebumps, and the hair on my arms was standing straight up. This is only the latest of a long list of ghost stories. The ghost I feel most connection to is Gladys, a beautiful young woman who disappeared off the side of the boat in the 1930s. No one knew the name of the warm female spirit who haunted our ballroom, but I was able to piece Gladys's story together through old newspaper reports. Maybe next time I'll write in with her story. If anyone has any interest in riding the haunted steamer Belle of Louisville, you actually still can. We go out on the water several times a week. If you're ever in Louisville, I would totally love to have you on board to see if you get the same vibes we do. Keep it creepy and see you for a mint julep and a seance, maybe? Heather.
Ooh, I'd love a mint julep and a seance and a steamboat. What a fun afternoon that would be.
But I love that full steam ahead is like for real. Also, scary job to be working with 1890s engines in 2025. Like amazing craftsmanship.
Yeah, it's how do you got to go back in time to go to engineer school to learn how to even take care of this. Very impressive too to be able to play a calliope.
That's
like
crazy.
Organs or anything. I follow this girl on TikTok who plays this huge organ at, oh gosh, it's a famous place. It escapes me now. But just like the strength and like, it's just way different than a piano. And it's, not something that a lot of people know to do. So Martha, you're doing the work, and I'm sorry that you, I think you heard somebody trapped in time.
Yeah, Martha's playing some tunes, and then you never know. Like, I feel like there's some, I don't know, energy in music and sound waves, and I'm like, you're playing the tunes of like back in the day, and maybe, I don't know, you jiggle up the ghost from the bowels or something. I don't know. They hear the tune, and they're like, we're leaving port, but... It's so scary when you're like, oh, someone's being injured right now. Like, I'm nervous that there's someone like trapped in a closet or hurt or had fallen or whatever. And then it's just empty.
It's linens. It's just some sheets and tablecloths.
That's all. But what a badass job, Heather. Like, I love, first of all, I'm a boat person. So it's so cool you get to work on not just a boat, but such an old boat that's like loved and restored and like part of your city's fundamental landscape. Sounds like.
I will definitely go. I don't think I've been to Kentucky before.
I don't think I have either, other than perhaps a drive-through, but...
Yeah, maybe that, but I don't even know if I've driven through it.
That's what I was trying to remember.
I would love to do something like this if we ever go, so we will take you up on that if we're ever in your neck of the woods.
We got to get to the Bluegrass State for the Steamboat and Cocaine Bear.
Hell yeah. They also have like a million great festivals and stuff, so time it just right.
Get some good music too. Well, thank you very much, Heather, and our regards to the other boat ghosts. We'd love to hear about them.
Yes, Gladys, please let us know what she's up to.
Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this next one's from Becca, and the subject line is, did a ghost shush my baby? Hi, ladies. Something really spooky happened in my home, and I just knew I needed to share the story with the two of you. I'm definitely a paranormal enthusiast, but at my core, I'm terrified of ghosts. So I try and set clear intentions for my home, that anything that is not of love and light is not permitted inside. I have a young daughter, and every night as I rock her to sleep, I recite this over her. A few months ago, some weird things started happening around my house. It started one night when I was alone in my living room, just reading a book after my daughter went to sleep. Her nursery is right above the living room. I was sitting there quietly when all of a sudden the light just turned off, and it didn't come back on. It was the light that was attached to the ceiling fan, so I thought it was strange, but things happen. But then it happened again, a week or so later, in a different room, same type of fan. As I passed through the room where the light had been on for some time, it turned off, then it turned back on as I entered the next room. I was starting to get freaked out at this point, but trying to rationalize it. Maybe the fan just has weird wiring or something, even though we've been in our house for 4 years and this has never happened before. Also, during or around that week, something else very strange happened. I was rocking my daughter to sleep like I do every night. She has a sound machine that has multiple sounds and volumes to choose from, but we consistently have it on the same one at the same volume, ocean waves. One night, we were rocking in the dark room, and she finally started to drift off to sleep, when the sound machine abruptly started changing sounds, one after another after another. This has never happened in the months that we've had this thing. I thought to myself, that's weird. Must be bugging out. Annoyed, I picked up my phone to open the app that can control the sound machine and returned it to the default setting. I once again began rocking my daughter to sleep, and she finally, once again, drifts off. I stand up to transfer her to her crib, a stressful experience in itself, and as soon as I'm laying her down, the sound machine changes again, this time to a thunderstorm at full blast volume. She wakes up, of course. I once again change it back to our default sound and start to look nervously at the corner where the sound machine is. Feeling silly but scared, I whisper, "Whoever is doing that, please stop." It finally stopped. She went to bed. Nothing happened for a few days after that, until one very early morning. My daughter had a round of vaccines the day before and was sleeping quite soundly that night, until she abruptly woke up around 5 a.m. and let out a wail. I heard it on the monitor, but did not react or even sit up, as this was not uncommon for her to do, and then fall back asleep. That is, until I heard a very clear, very distinct shh, shh, come through the monitor. I bolted upright and looked at the camera. My daughter had fallen peacefully back to sleep. The shush was so clear, I was 100% positive I was going to see a human in her room with her, but there was no one there. I moved the camera around to get a view of the whole room. No one. I thought maybe I imagined it until my husband asked me what that sound was. He heard it too. He also moved the camera around to look around her room, focused on her closet to see if there was movement, anything, but there was nothing. And I should mention we have an alarm system that we religiously set. If someone had entered our home, we would have known. Nothing happened after that. I was a bit unnerved putting her to bed the next few nights, but there was no weird activity, no weird feelings, nothing. There have been no lights turning off and on, no sound machine mishaps, no unfamiliar voices coming through the monitor. It was like it all culminated that one night and then left. I like to think maybe it was her guardian angel checking in on her after her vaccines. I like to think it was something of love and light and that my prayers of protection work. But we don't know. Whoever or whatever it was, I'm just glad they've not returned. Or if they have, they've not made themselves known, which is just as good. Unless it was the ghostly lady we saw looking over her crib at our lake house one night. But that's a story for a different time.
Which is worse? You hear shh, shh, and you fully expect to see a person in the room, and you look and there isn't one, or you look and there is one.
Right? And then someone's in the camera like, shh.
I think it's worse if you see someone.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. But if you do think you're going to see someone and then you don't, oh, yikes.
What a
Those
feeling.
baby monitors will get you every time.
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention like the sound machine that you're, first of all, ghost. What the fuck, man? I don't have a
I'll
kid.
kill you.
But like, I feel like this is the worst thing you can do to a parent with a baby, trying to put their baby down it's like a bomb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, I have to be so
The
careful.
transfer is a whole thing. Like,
And just
like
see-
she said.
Just a and turn up thunderstorms. Like, if you weren't dead, Ghost, I'll kill you right now.
Mm-hmm.
What
I'm
have
glad
you
I was
done?
setting the baby down, or I would have dropped her, because that
Yes.
scared the shit out of me. And Simon has a similar sound machine. If that thing just blasted storms, no. That I've said it before. If you want to haunt my house, okay, but don't do shit that's going to make it more difficult for me to live my life here.
Well, yeah, don't wake my children up and
No.
ruin it for everybody, especially if you're very interested in the baby going to sleep and being quiet and you're over here like, shh, shh, shh. Well, guess what? You don't have to shh nobody if you don't fuck with their sound machine and wake them up. This ghost got to learn. I would be very pleased that everything got quiet after this, because this
Yes.
is too much lights and then flashing and then all this shit moving. Like you said, your prayers are protection of, like, if you're here for bad purposes, get the fuck out.
Get
We
out.
don't play that. We don't play that here.
If you want to rock her to sleep when she wakes up and let me sleep a little bit more, you can do that. But
Yeah.
don't turn that thing on full blast.
I'm like, if you're going to live here, you got to take some responsibility. Okay. This
Gotta
isn't a
earn
free
your
ride.
keep.
Nobody rides for free. So, well, thank you, Becca. Please, I want to know also about the ghostly lady
Yeah.
looking over her crib at the lake house. Anytime.
For sure.
Anytime. Well, thank you, Becca, and may it remain quiet around your place.
Yes. In more ways than one.
Right. Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this last one is from Hannah Westbrook. What's up, Hannah?
Hi, Hannah.
And,
Miss you. Love you.
Miss you, love you indeed. And the subject line is Confronting Creeps and Dorm Room Sinks. Christy, Heather, as I live and breathe. So many congratulations on Sinisterhood. True Blue Day One listener here from DCH days. I still remember proudly having the old logo stickers displayed at the Main Street bar so people could ask about it. So very proud of y'all. Your friendship reminds me of our comedy community. You deserve it all. I have 2 stories for you. Last weekend, all hell broke loose at Papacito's Cantina Fort Worth when I called out my uncle for being inappropriate. I am 31, queer female, and for years, as early as high school, I have tolerated inappropriate sexual comments, weird, unnecessary touching, albeit usually arms, neck, from my uncle, who makes me feel very uncomfortable. The comments were always dismissed as jokes, and rejecting his touch would make him pouty and offended. Gross. My younger sister also endured the same weird treatment, and for many years, it's been easy enough to just avoid him as much as possible, and, if necessary, interact only in a group setting. Perhaps it's the state of the world sharpening my anger, or years of listening to encouraging stories, but this Sunday, I was not having it. I was last to arrive to family lunch, and, to my dismay, the only open seat was next to him. So I sat, and it didn't take long before he started bringing up something sexual completely out of context. Mind you, this man is nearly 70 years old. I had just come back from New York, and he said, "Did you pay money to see one of those peep shows?" And I, directly and probably angrily, replied, "No, of course not." To me, this statement was semi-mild, but my hackles are always up around him, and I knew in some way he would bring up something sexual. Despite my obvious disgust, he then extended his hand on my shoulder/neck area in a massaging type motion. I batted his hand away and said, "Do not touch me. I don't like that." He then turned and started loudly complaining to his wife on the other side of him that I won't let him touch me and she must hate me. And so I doubled down and did something I had never done before. I called it out in public. I straight up said, "I don't want to be touched nor made sexual comments every time I see you." And from there, it was a family scene that ultimately resulted in my aunt and uncle storming off from lunch. Good riddance, honestly. I want to credit anyone who has previously shared a story confronting when someone made you uncomfortable. Thank you for sharing it, as it made me feel stronger and able to stand up for myself. This has been a burden of mine for a long time, feeling like it was up to me to constantly avoid him. We are not alone, and our autonomy matters. Pause to say, fuck yeah.
Yeah, pause real quick for this
Pause
next
real
one,
quick.
because fuck yeah,
This is-
Hannah.
Fuck yes. Like, because it's kind of 2 stories in one. I just want to pause and say, hell yes. And hell yes to everybody that's written in. And hell yes to everybody that makes comments. I really think we're stronger together. And it's really like we have invisible hands on our shoulders. And like, the more we know that we're not
your
alone.
creepy uncles.
Yes, no. And you literally, it's not like you said, it's not like you were like, "Listen, you old fuck perv, I hope you die today." You were just like, "Hello, please do not do these things." But there is a certain subset of the population that considers boundaries to be
offensive.
Like personal.
They take it personal. Yeah,
like personal.
And if you want to just send us, Hannah, an offshoot email of what happened exactly after you said that, because I would love to see the Papacitas Cantina Fort Worth lunch of 2025 and how this went down, because good for you. And is this your dad or mom's brother? And like, what's their response been? Because of you and your sister, and like 70 years old, like gross old man.
I'm like, get him on a leash. Who's in charge of this person? Like, this is not appropriate.
Well, his wife apparently, I guess, is on his side, but
what the fuck? Yeah. I would just like
good
say
for you. And, right. That's so sweet about the stickers and everything. I remember that well too, and miss GCH every day.
I miss you in your face, definitely. And I hope that for this next part, I do your voice justice, because you are very funny in this story. So, Hannah further writes, to take a hard left turn, my other story, reminiscent of the fateful parking lot story, remains the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. And it happened at Texas Tech. Shout out, Christy. This experience definitely wrecked them. Freshman year of college, a feral time, I lived in Chitwood, the girls' dorm, which was connected by a lobby with the boys' dorm, Weymouth, where my then boyfriend stayed. Oftentimes, I would stay overnight at his dorm, but there's not a women's restroom on the boys' side, so we had to get creative. Our solution? My boyfriend would check out the boys' restroom. If it was clear, I would go in, do my business, and be done. This worked great for a while until he got lazy keeping guard, and I walked right into 2 RAs when I was exiting the bathroom. I got in big trouble, had to take an ethics course online, and was issued a warning about the risk of being considered a, quote, sex offender for using the wrong restroom. I cried for sure. As a rule-following people-pleaser type, my soul was crushed to be in trouble, and I swore on everything holy that I would never, ever use the boys' room again. Flash to 2 weeks later. I wake up in the middle of the night, and I have to pee so bad. I try and wake my boyfriend, but he sleeps like the dead, and for the life of me, I could not get him to wake up. So much so that I was starting to panic. I was pacing the dorm room quietly in the dark, thinking about my options. I could try and go to the lobby by myself to the restroom, but I could get in trouble anyway for not having an escort accompanying me. I could try and make it to the boys' restroom. It was just across the hall, but no, I couldn't go back on my word. My creative, lovely brain came up with a solution. The boys can pee in the sink. Why can't I pee in the sink? I can pee in the sink. It was brilliant. It was going to save me. This could work. So, quietly, in the darkness, I perched like a gargoyle in the Malasana yoga pose over this tiny sink. Sweet relief. I'm peeing. I'm successful. And I'm a genius. And then I realize, shit, I've also just started my period in the sink. Oh, no. I, staying perched, extended my arm to flip on the light switch, but in a perfect turn of events, knocked over every item on the shelf and made a ton of noise. In the moment the light flicked on, his roommate woke up and saw me, completely naked, crouched and demonic, bleeding into his sink, and he screams. I hissed for him to stay asleep. My boyfriend did not wake up once during the whole ordeal, but did ultimately have to walk me downstairs so I could go home for period supplies. While it embarrassed me, it is too hilarious not to share anytime I get the chance. His roommate and I are still close friends. Anywho, so much love. Thank you for everything, Hannah.
Hannah, I know the sinks you're talking about. And let me explain the sink. Because if it's a sink, I lived in Stangel and Murdaugh. It's actually the other dorm, the boys' dorm connected to us. Did I get written up for being over in the boys' dorm? Sure. And having boys in our room? Of course. Because we couldn't even, after hours, like, be there with an escort. Like, at a certain point, like, girls couldn't be on their floor and vice versa. So, a lot of people... You're not the only one that I've known that has peed in that sink, including girls. I had a friend of mine at the end of the hall because it was so far from the bathroom, and you just don't want to go all the way down. Our sinks were like the sink, and then it's not like it had cabinet vanity that it was sitting atop. It was just like a pipe.
Oh, fuck.
So it's not as stable as one might think to perch upon because like I remember we had, like, you know, a little, tiny curtain, like, affixed to it. So you could like put your cleaning supplies down there and kind of like hide it away. Mm-hmm. But it's not like it's super secure.
There's not a cabinet. It's not a whole full
There's
like countertop that you're
no.
crouching on. That makes it even funnier because then it's no longer like a statue of a gargoyle. It's like a fountain gargoyle that's like on the top of the fountain. And it's a fountain. There's something trickling. There's something trickling. But you're this fucking roommate just like, and then you hear ka-dum and you're like, someone's broken in. And then when you sit up, you're like, ah, gargoyle.
Oh my.
And
good
like,
for you for being friends with him still.
Go back to
and
sleep.
Good for him for being friends with you. Who knows what happened to the boyfriend, but I'm glad you and the roommate are still friends. Oh man, what a time that was. You did wreck him. You did wreck him. You know, I wrecked it too. I had to have a meeting with the director of our dorms after a feral evening myself. And so I get it. But also, like, lighten up. Texas Tech, lighten up, okay? Like, sometimes if you just want to be, like, crawling down the hall after the Goldschlager during finals week, maybe that's okay. We're all going through something. Maybe
this is the dorm.
You have to piss so bad and you don't want to get written up again because the fucking RAs have nothing better to do than to get you in trouble. So you got to piss in the sink, and then because we're women and of course it's going to happen, we start our period. And why won't your boyfriend wake up? He needs to have that looked into. If all of that can happen, he still doesn't wake up. Honestly, that's Tommy.
The literal gargoyle could have busted in here and you would have had no idea, and I would be dead and your roommate would be dead and you're just asleep and you'd be dead and you wouldn't know either. Yeah. That kind of stuff where the RAs are like, all right, we're going to have a sit down about this. I feel like all of my friends that went to tech, y'all are not alone. Like there's
it's
a lot
party
of
school,
wild fun stories of tech on and off campus stories for sure. Mm-hmm. But, what a tale. I can't stop thinking about that gargoyle.
I did throw up in a sink. A friend's, that sucked, but I never started my period in one. So you got me there.
Oh, well, shout out to whoever lives in Weymouth currently. And I don't know what sink this was. Maybe they've changed it. Maybe they've remodeled since then.
Dude,
but
the pipes are probably the exact same. I don't know. I haven't been there in so long.
It sounds like if the people are also erping in them, then the gargoyling is the least anybody should be worrying about of them. It's honestly, it's a college dorm. All kinds of stuff's going down those tubes.
Dude.
Unbelievable shit. Oh, but Hannah, thank you for this. It was so good to hear from you.
Yes.
And shout out to you for just being your badass self, whether it is problem solving creatively in the night in order to go to the bathroom and relieve yourself, or saying what you need to say and asserting your boundaries. Like I said, the Papacitos, you did nothing wrong. I think you should plant a flag, even though it's not ponchos, plant a flag. Like, this is my day of freedom. Because I said, quit fucking with me today. So may you never be touched.
Don't let the goodness of Papacitos be taken from you, because it's delicious. And I don't want it to sully you on Papacitos forever. But it is, you made a good point, Hannah, about with relatives, especially like this, you feel like it's your burden to bear. Like, you have to avoid them. You have to just kind of like laugh it off and take it. Why?
Right.
Because that's what we've been taught our whole lives, but not anymore, bitches.
Not anymore. I'm really happy and heartened to see, like, my youngest niece, she's got a lot of cousins on her dad's side of the family. Like, they're all kind of around her age. And I've really noticed several of them speaking out and being like, I don't want to hug right now. And the adults in the family, not just my generation, but then the grandparent level adults going, okay, sweetie, let me know if you want to hug later, instead of pushing it. Yeah. Because I know when we were kids, it was so like, just give your uncle a kiss in the mouth. And it's like, I don't want to.
No, I never see them and they smell weird and I just feel weird. And it's like, yeah, I get it. We have a standing rule too. Like, if you don't want to hug, you don't ever have to hug. You don't have to high five. You don't have to say hi if you don't want to.
Sometimes people don't want to be touched and it doesn't matter how old they are.
Most times I don't. So I get it.
Especially if it's like,
Get it.
I haven't seen you in a long time and I'm trying to eat my enchiladas right now.
Dude.
Like, please stop.
If you come between me and these shrimp enchiladas and queso, I'll stab you with this fork.
You might lose a hand. I don't know. I got my cutlery. I'm going to town. I can't stop myself when it comes to Papacitos, baby. That's the problem in
Sounds
Texas.
so good right now, too.
Yeah, we've got so many good Tex-Mex places that I'm like, Papacitos, but I'm almost like, ooh, mi casina. But I'm almost like, ooh, mess with my, I mean, there's so many. El Phoenix. I could list them all. Uncle Julio's.
Damn, I haven't had Papacitos in longer than the other four, though. I've had Mi Cocina, more recent, El
too.
Phoenix, El Vecino. Yeah. Ooh,
Oh, dude. El Vecino, you can't even get in. But Papacitos, I usually have for people's like birthdays and stuff. So it feels very like a special, like a family lunch or whatever place. So
it is a good place for that.
You're a badass, Hannah. I always knew you were and didn't need this confirmation, but appreciate it because especially the gargoyling made me smile. Certainly.
No, I had the privilege of getting to coach a troop Hannah was in, and you were very funny, as you know, and so very sweet. So
brilliant.
Good to hear that you're doing well. We love and miss you.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you to everybody for sending in your Freaky Friday stories. If you have an odd but true story, maybe you've encountered Bigfoot or a gargoyle bleeding into your sink in your dorm room. Get out of there. You've seen a UFO. You had a brush with true crime, or you felt the presence of an otherworldly being. Send them in at sinisterhood.com/Freaky Friday. Speaking of freaky, if you got something creepy caught on camera, found a weird or unexplainable clip online, maybe you just have a funny video you want us to see, send it our way and we'll live react to it during Sunday Scaries, our weekly live stream over on Patreon every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Central. It's totally free. You just put in your email and then you get access to that, and you get access to all of our backlog of bonus content that's available just for signing up for free.
Yes, and if you've got any videos of a guy just giving oral to an avocado or anything like that, send it in. Our husbands will make sure it gets in the fucking stream.
How many videos do you think we're going to have to watch of Donut Daddy this Sunday? Is it going to be Oops All Donut Daddy? Is that what we have to sit through?
I'm going to walk in on Paris. He's editing like, what? Like, babe, what are you watching? It's for the show.
I think I might disintegrate if I have to watch like any multiple of those, because it is so sexual.
It's a lot. We're going to have to put a moratorium. This will be the last video we watch before we go off, but send it on in and go check out all that free BOCO.
Yes. Well, if you like our free episodes, you'll love our Patreon bonus content. You can join for free, like we said, just to see what we're up to. Or you can dive into over 1,000 hours of bonus content, like Judge Christie, where I rule on petty grievances you bring before the court. True Crime Headlines, where we break down the latest news and updates in true crime. Heather Saves, where anything Heather has found late night scrolling could be discussed. And Am I the Asshole? Unpopular opinions and other subreddits that we feel require our input.
If you're not curious about what we're talking about, you're not entirely sure what Patreon is, if you go over, join for free, like we said, monthly free bonus content, weekly Sunday Scaries. You can also join for a week at any of the tiers with a free trial. It's where you check out all the perks of that tier that you're in, like our Q&As or anything like that, and you can cancel anytime before the trial is over without getting charged. But if you stick around for an annual membership, you get 1 month free. And when you do, you get all kinds of stuff. What are some of the possible perks?
Ad-free episodes, monthly live stream Q&As, quarterly live bonus content that we let you all vote on, weekly audio bonus content, mini-sodes, merch discounts, and a community of the best listeners on the whole internet.
Head over to sinisterhood.com, click shop on the top banner to check out merch like t-shirts, mugs, totes, stickers, and even clothes for your kiddos.
While you're on our website, you can also review the show and submit topics and cases you'd like us to cover. You'll also find fun things like topic-based playlists. And it was mentioned earlier, but Crime Wave at Sea 2025 is approaching rapidly.
Yes, and like we said in the episode, True Crime Campfire is going to be there with us. Henry and Ed from Last Podcast Side Stories. Dan and Lynn's from Scared to Death. We cannot wait. It's November 3rd through the 7th, and it's high sailing on the seas. We're going from Fort Lauderdale, the corner of the Bermuda Triangle, through the Bermuda Triangle, Bahamas, private island, bunch of fun stuff, live shows, vacation with us. It's going to be great.
Live shows, fan meetups, Q&As, meet and greets, just hanging out on the Lido deck, doing some
Pool
shuffleboard, swimming. I wonder if they've got one of those big ass slides.
Oh, I bet. Oh, they do actually. I just saw a video on TikTok.
Did you?
I saw a video on TikTok of a slide on a Royal Caribbean ship, and I went and looked up our Royal Caribbean ship, and they have a
Which ship are we on?
I believe we are on Liberty of the Seas, but don't go to crimewaveatsea.com/sinister and double check. But I'm pretty sure it's Liberty. But it's going to be a great time. Every Royal Caribbean ship is like classy, upscale. Like I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, this is the kind of ship I'm trying to get on.
They got a good pool area with lots of fun stuff.
So go to crimewaveatsea.com/sinister and get your fan code and book your cabin before it's all sold out.
Yeah.
Follow us over on Instagram and Threads at Sinisterhood Pod. Like us on Facebook at Sinisterhood. Follow us over on YouTube so that we can have more subscribers than Jeff and Shalea from Twin Flames Universe.
I was watching something earlier and we're like at 9.32. So
they're at 30. So we needed some more friends out there, but we can do it. I know we can do it. Follow us over on TikTok at Sinisterhood Podcast to watch clips from the episodes, live streams, and more. And if you're looking for a unique and personal gift for the Sinisterhood fan in your life, you want to treat yourself. That's cool too. Book a cameo now, regardless of what we're there to celebrate. Birthdays, birth announcements, graduations. We will create a customized video that can be immediately viewed and sent. It's a thoughtful gift. It's perfect for when you don't want to have to go anywhere to shop. And also it's a gift for the person that already has everything, because every cameo is completely unique. It's not just some clutter and junk that's going to take up more space. It's a meaningful message from you to them and delivered goofily, usually, sometimes emotionally. Just depends.
I feel like it's kind of 50-50.
50-50. Depends on what people want.
Serious emotional pep talk and horsehead lady body.
Yeah.
You never know. It's going to be either.
It could be any. Someone was like, can I have advice on applying to law schools? And we did one cameo that was just like quite literally me brain dumping everything about that. So anything you want to have us make a video of, go to cameo.com/sinisterhood and we'd love to make one. Where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram and Threads at Christy M. Wallace and TikTok at Christy or GTFO. Heather?
I'm on the internet at Heather versus the world.
As always, the devil rules the airwaves.
Keep it creepy.
Sinisterhood.